Hey guys, I was just going to make a quick review video for this last section, application of systems in three variables. So this is where we're using the calculator to solve. If you were in class with me, you should have seen this method, but if you've been gone or you've been out of class for whatever reason, here is how we do solving systems of three variables with the calculator. Okay, so what we always want to do is once we have our three equations set up, we want to create what is called an augmented matrix. So that is going to be, in this case, a 3x4 matrix where we take the coefficients of our equations and then the constants on the right side and we plug it into a matrix. So this first row right here would be 1, -2, -3, -1. Now remember, I just get those from what's in front of the variables, and then the last one is the constant number. So, and remember, if it doesn't have a coefficient or a number in front, we assume that it's 1. Okay, so then the next row would be 2, 1, 1, 6, and the last row would be 1, 3, -2, 13. And it always has to go X, Y, Z in that order, okay? Now there's three different types of situations, as we've talked about a couple times. The first situation is where it's one solution. You will always see this pattern right here where it's a diagonal of ones and then the rest of the numbers are zeros. And then it goes X, Y, and Z. So for this equation, it would be X equals 3, Y equals 1, Z equals 2. Then there's the many solutions, which is infinitely. We have a row of all zeros. The way that I like to think of this is if you think of the left side as 0 equal to this one right here, 0, there's never an instance where 0 equals 0 isn't true. So it's true at all times. That's why we assume there's infinitely many solutions. Now this last one, notice it's all zeros except for this 2 on the bottom. So what I like to think of to remind myself of this is 0 is never equal to 2. So since that doesn't work, there is no solution. Just kind of a little way to remember that. Okay, now let's actually solve with the augmented matrix. So the first thing is, let's write this in the matrix form. We get 1, 3, -1, -11, 2, 1, 1, 1, 5, -2, 3, 21. Okay, so now this is where we need that calculator. So let me pull this up here. I'm just gonna shift this over. The steps for the calculator. First thing we hit is the matrix button right there. And then we're gonna go over to edit. And like we just said, this is a 3x4. So 3x4, so 3 columns, 3 rows, 4 columns. So 3, enter, 4, enter. And now I have the dimensions that I want. Then I just need to go through and type this out. So I just go over here, type out my numbers. The one thing to be careful of is negatives. If you want it, so let me get to a negative here. So 1, 3. Now I'm on this element right here, -1, okay, way up top here. I want to hit this right here, this negative that's in parentheses. Make sure you hit that. So -1 and then enter. -11, enter, and then I'm just going to keep filling this out. Oop. It's pretty easy to mess up with these, so make sure that you're looking back at what you typed in after you're done. And you'll want to practice a few of these and make sure you get the same answers that I do. It doesn't help if you just watch it. You really do need to get the muscle memory of it. Now after we have everything typed in, we're going to hit second mode, quit. Then we're going to go back into the matrix. We're going to go under math. And the important one that we've used before is number 9, the double REF. So if you just click number 9, it'll give you that. But then make sure you go back into the matrix and select the matrix we just edited, which for me is matrix A. So now I have that. And there we go. This is my solution set up here. Now we notice it has the diagonal pattern of ones going diagonally, and the rest are zeros, so this is going to be a 1 solution. The top answer is X, so X equals 2, the top up there. And then we got y equals -4 and z equals +1. There we go. We solved for x, y, and z. Now I'm on to the next problem. Okay, I'm going to move this back off to the side. Now this one's a little bit trickier. Let's go ahead and write the first row. 1, -1, 3, 6. And now this, if you notice, we're actually missing the z's. There's no z's. So for the x, we have 1, y, we have -2. If we're missing a variable though, we're still going to fill it in. We're just going to put in 0. So that's very important. Then we have 5 at the end. Now this bottom one is normal, 2, -2, 5, and 9. So make sure if you have a missing variable, you fill it in as 0, and it has to follow the x, y, z pattern. All right, so now I've got to go back to calculator, pull that up here. Come on. There we go. So I go back into calculator. I'm just going to clear this out. I'm going to hit matrix and I'm going to go over and edit. I'm just going to use that same 3x4. So type in your numbers. Okay, so there we go. Got it typed in. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit matrix. Oh, sorry, I have to exit out. I got to go back to the home screen first. So second, quit. And then I hit matrix. I want that number 9, the double R. And then I got to select my matrix, matrix A, enter. And here we go. I got my solutions. And it's another one solution problem because we have the diagonal ones. So we're going to get x equals -11, y equals -8, and z equals 3. There we go. Nothing too crazy there. Now, I just want to do one more. This is mainly to just practice the process. Maybe I'll do 2. Okay, so for example 1, I'm not going to go through how we get these equations because that was done in the previous lesson. This is the exact same problem, just with the equations filled out. I just want to practice how we write it in the proper form so we can plug it into the matrix. That's the big thing for this lesson. So the first one's good. We have x, y, and z all on one side. Second one's good, x, y, z, and then a constant. Now the third one, though, we need to simplify this. So if we distribute that 3 to both terms there, we get 3y plus 3z. Now we need to get all of the variables on one side. I like to move everything to the left. So if I subtract 3y and subtract 3z and do that on the same thing over here, my new equation becomes x minus 3y minus 3z equals 0. Okay, so I just transformed this equation, so now it's in the proper form that I can put it in the matrix. So when I write my matrix, I'm going back up to this row here first. So 1, 1, 1, 4, 40. Let me move this off to the side. And then we got 5, 15, 25, 3, 9, 4, 0. Some of these would get kind of large. And we have 1, -3, -3, 0. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull back up here, bring it up. And another thing, when you do the actual test, you won't have to split screen. You can just use the calculator. So go under matrix. Got all that, so we just have to edit. Like I said, very easy to mess up. Okay, so I'm pretty good with those. Now I gotta hit second quit, matrix, go under math, number 9, matrix, enter, enter. And we get 330, 46, and 64. So the top one is x equals 330, y equals 46, and z equals 64. And these are all types of tickets. So x is the number of regular tickets, y is the number of premium tickets, and z is the number of regular tickets. Well, actually, that should be elite tickets. That was a little error. Now, I'm not going to be super picky on labels for this as long as you define your variables up above. If you didn't define your variables up above and then you left it as x, y, z, and I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't know if you know which variables go with what, so make sure you at least define it somewhere so I know what you're talking about. Otherwise, you would have to put elite ticket, or not elite tickets. We would put regular, premium, and elite. Okay, so for this next one, I'm just going to go through the process of how you would write it in the matrix form, and then I'm going to let you type it in. Okay, so the first equation, good. All variables on one side, constant on the other. Second equation, good. Third equation, x equals y plus z. We need to move those variables to the other side. So I'm going to subtract y and z from both sides. Then I get x minus y minus z equals 0. So let's go ahead and write those into the matrix. So 1, 1, 1, 60,000, 0.12, 0.08, 0.05, and then 5,400, 1, negative 1, negative 1, 0. Well, I might as well write this out since it's got decimals, just so you can see what the answer should be when you're all done. Okay, so I'm going to clear this out. Matrix, edit, sometimes it's touchy. Come on. Okay, so now we have it good to go. So let's go back to the home screen by quitting. We go matrix, number 9, matrix, enter, enter. And there we go. We get 30,000, 10,000, and 20,000. So we would write, move that off to the side. X equals, and this one's just money, so you can just put the dollar sign. 30,000 equals 20,000. I want to make sure I had that right, actually. Oh, it was 10,000, see? I apologize. 10,000, and then Z was 20,000. Okay, so you get the process. If you need to review how we get these equations, like right here, that's something you're going to want to check out lesson 4. That explains in better detail. But for the process of typing it in your calculator, hopefully it's pretty familiar now. Just make sure that you always put your variables on one side and you have them lined up so it's x, y, z, and then the constant over here. Okay? All right. You don't have to worry about submitting anything for this. This is just a review or to go over it if you didn't get a chance to see it.